I am not going to James today. It's fine.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
We'll pick up James again later. But last week, which really cracked me up, I thought, wow, I really did that? Yeah, you really did that, Sherry. I don't know, whatever. We completely skipped Genesis chapter 13. Did anybody notice that? We completely skipped Genesis 13. I'm going to hit some highlights, okay? So last week I told you about the 5 kings and the 4 kings, and I read the names. And for whatever reason, that's what we were supposed to do last week. So whoever needed to hear that last week, that's where that came from. Before that happened with Melchizedek, before that happened, where he took off to, up past Damascus, where he went and got his nephew Lot. And I said to you, he had to go get Lot, because remember, Lot's in the lineage of Yeshua, right? Okay, but what happened prior to that? Well, let's go find out. This TV has one function. I use it only on Shabbat for this, so it needs to work. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Wait, where are we? Genesis what?
13.
Okay.
Okay, but I might not read the whole thing. All right, I'm going to read some of it. Abram went from Egypt. So prior to last week, remember, he had gone down to Egypt, and he told Sarah, "Tell them you're my sister." Remember that whole story. That's the gap I left. Okay, so his wife, and everything he had, and Lot with him, into the Negev. They left from Egypt. They went into the Negev. The Negev is this point down here, right here, right? You've got Egypt over here. You've got the Sinai Peninsula. You've got the Negev, and then you've got the Dead Sea here, and you've got the Sea of Galilee and Jerusalem here. The Negev is the lowest point of Israel. It meets the Sinai Peninsula. Okay, it borders there, which is Egypt. Okay, Sinai Peninsula is Egypt. Okay, so he goes up into the Negev, and Abram became wealthy, with much cattle, silver, and gold. And as he went on his travels from the Negev, he came to Bet-El, which is what? House of
God.
Yeah.
Bet-El, house of God.
Yeah.
House of God.
So Abraham right now is traveling, is the nomad?
He's a nomad. He doesn't have a home. He doesn't have title to this land. He owns nothing. And God promised him, right? Or did he? Oh, I think he did. Told him to leave. You'd give him something, right? Okay. All right. So he went to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Beth-El and Ai. Remember, that's in the Jordanian valley side of Israel. Okay? Jericho is on that side. When they crossed the Jordan River from what we call modern day Jordan into Israel, that's Beth-El and Ai. Okay? All right. Where he had first built the altar, and there Abram called on the name of Adonai. Okay? So he's coming on the east side of the Jordan River, and he came through Ai and Beth-El there. Okay? And there he built an altar. It's coming through the Jordan Valley, the Jordan Rift Valley. Okay? What's at the top of the Jordan Rift Valley? Galilee. Galilee. Okay? All right. It's a very strategic spot. It's a very important spot. We believe that's where the vision of the dry bones was as well, coming to life up in the northern section of the Jordan Rift Valley. Okay? So, right up in here. Right in the Sea of Galilee. Here, and he came down here and went across over to here. Lot, who was traveling with Abram, also had flocks, herds, and tents, but the land could not support their living together because their possessions were too great for them to remain together. Isn't that wonderful how God prospers? Mm-hmm. Okay. Does that mean that we're all going to become filthy rich? No. Moreover, Solomon, don't give me too much that I might curse you. Don't give me, or, that I might not praise you because I'll rely on myself, and don't give me too little that I might curse you. Okay. All right. Be content. All right. Moreover, quarreling arose between Abram's and Lot's herdsmen, not between Abram and Lot, between their herdsmen. Okay. The Canaanite and the Perizzite were living in the land. And Abram said to Lot, please, let's not have quarreling between me and you. He doesn't mean you and I are having a quarrel.
Right.
Let's not have it between, it's our households. Let's not have quarreling between us, okay? Between my herdsmen and yours, since we're kinsmen, isn't the whole land there in front of you? Please separate yourself from me. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left. Who did God promise the land to? Lot, you go there, I'll go here. You go there, I'll go here. You choose that, I'll choose this. So Lot looked up and he saw the whole plain of the Jordan, the Yarden, that it was well watered everywhere. And before Adonai destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It was like the garden of Adonai. See, they're in Eden. If you're in Israel, you're in Eden. But it was like the garden. Like the land of Egypt in the direction of Zoar. Why? Because it's watered really well by the sediments and stuff of the Nile. Okay? So in other words, it's lush, it's beautiful, it's green. The Jordan Valley today is still that way. Okay? It's lush, it's beautiful, it's green. So Lot looked with his eyes and said, oh, I want this. This is the best. So Lot chose all the plain of the Jordan, or the Jordan, for himself, and Lot traveled eastward. Thus they separated themselves from each other. And Abram lived in the land of Canaan, and Lot lived in the cities of the plain, setting up his tent near Sodom. He wasn't there yet, but by the time we got to chapter 14, which we did last week, he was in. Okay, see, I'm not going to go in. I just want to look. I won't touch it. I just want to. I want to, and then pretty soon. It's really a slippery slope. Last week I told somebody, we look with our eyes, not with our hands, to which she promptly said, well, sometimes I look with my hands. To which I said, not today. And the lady in front of us about lost it, but whatever, But, right? Because see, looking with the eyes, it starts with the eyes, and then you want to touch it and taste it and see and feel it. You see what I'm saying?
And keep it.
Temptation. Who tempted? Not God. Your own desires. Oh, back to James. Your own desires. So, look with your eye. We don't touch. We look with our eyes. We don't look with our hands. So let's cut to the root of it. Okay? All right. Thank you, Miss Charlie. That fit perfect. And so that's what Lot did. Now the men of Sodom were evil. And remember you asked a question last week. Were they always evil? You asked me about, Sodom and Gomorrah. You asked, were they always evil when I read the names and what they all meant? And I said, yes, they were. Well, right here, the chapter before, had I read it, we would have had it. That the men of Sodom were evil, committing great sins against Adonai. Adonai said to Abram after Lot moved away from him, look all around you from where you are to the north, the south, the east, and the west. The east. Who moved to the east? Lot. So it doesn't matter that Lot went there and moved and took it for his. God says, not so fast. I'm going to give you that too. All of these things, right? This is all the land you see, I will give to you and your descendants. Okay? To your seed. Your seed. That's a very important word. Your seed. Forever. What? Just for...
Right.
Until Babylon comes.
No.
Okay. Just until 70 AD. Definitely not 1948.
No.
Forever. And I will make your descendants as numerous as the specks of dust on the earth. That's very important. As numerous as the specks of dust. Okay, if there's as much dust that's in my house, that's a lot. Specks of dust in the earth. Good luck counting all of that. No. So that if a person can count the specks of dust on the earth, then your descendants can be counted. Get up. Abram, get up. I want you to move again. I want you to get up and move. I want you to walk through the length and the breadth of the land, because I will give it to you. And Abram moved his tent and came to live by the oaks of Mamre, which is in Hebron. Okay, so this is where this would have been important for you for last week, because Hebron is down here. Here's Jerusalem. Here's Hebron. It's on the other side of the what we would call the dividing, like the Judean hills, which separate the Jordan Rift Valley from the rest of Canaan or Israel. Okay, so it would make sense, because didn't you wonder last week? Because I never said why the king of Sodom would have been over here. You met him at Jerusalem. Why? Because he lived right here at Hebron. So he's going to come this way. He's not going to go back over to. You see what I'm saying? So he would have known, oh, Abraham lives over there. He's going to get his stuff and go home. I'm going to go meet him over there and take, because remember I said he took. Sodom, the king of Sodom, wanted to take his goods. He wanted stuff, whereas Melchizedek gave. Okay? Does that line up now? Does that make sense? A little more sense? Okay. So, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Sodom came because Abraham didn't go back to there. He went down through Jerusalem. He went down to go back to Hebron. He went to go back to his home, not Sodom. But why go there? Okay, he was going home. So the king wanted to go get his stuff and his people, right? Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Why isn't Abram bitter? Lot chose the best. Then the next chapter, which we did last week, he chose the best. He ended up in a city of, kind of like destruction. If you've ever read Pilgrim's Progress, it's very similar, right? Pilgrim's Progress, city of destruction. Mm-hmm. And yet he goes after him, even though he took the best for himself and didn't consider his uncle, who took him as a son, who brought him with him, who helped him. How do you think he got wealthy? Because he was protected by his uncle. So when they come and say, "Hey, these kings came and they took your nephew," off he goes and said, "Well, he chose to live there, right?" Mm-hmm. No, he goes after him. It's attitude. Okay. Sometimes we have to do the wrong thing or the hard things, but with the right attitude. Okay. And the hard things sometimes look like you could be hateful or you could be this but it's not. Got it? Okay. It's not. Abram chose, he wasn't hateful. He wasn't begrudging. He wasn't jealous. He wasn't upset. He didn't think less of his nephew for being selfish. Although it says Lot was a righteous man. What if Lot chose to go into the valley? See, I showed you one picture just a minute ago about how close he got, and then he got closer, and then he got closer until he got into the, right? But apparently it didn't touch him. But unfortunately, it appears that he married into that society because it was still in her. We'll find that out later when we get to Lot later, okay? You follow what I'm saying? Okay. Because Scripture says, the New Testament tells us that he was a righteous man. It also tells us that Sodom was evil, and the men were evil. So before God brings destruction, what does he do? He shines light. Maybe Lot had to go there. Maybe he needed to choose to go there to shed light. Maybe he had to say there's a different way. Maybe he had to speak truth, and they needed to be confronted that something was different and separate. Okay? There's not just our Western mind way of looking at this. Okay? All right. So I didn't do that whole chapter a whole lot of justice because I really do want to move on to covenant, but we kind of skipped it, and I wanted you to understand what transpired before last week, before the evil and before the destruction. Okay? God will always send warnings, and he always sends light before destruction. He always gives opportunity. Always. Okay? Okay. All right. And even with, I'll get to that next time, next week. Okay, so let's go to chapter 15. I'm sorry, I did 14 last week. So let's go to chapter 15. All right? Where is he? Is he still, he's probably still at the Oaks of Mamre, right? Okay, which is just outside of Jerusalem. Hebron is not very far from Jerusalem. Okay? It's not. It's in the heartland of Israel. All right. Okay. Sometime later, the word of Adonai came to Abram in a vision. Don't be afraid, Abram. Whoa. You know, what a way to start a conversation. Don't be afraid. It must have been a little startling. First, I mean, what happens to Mary? Don't be afraid. Whoa, how'd you get in here? You see what I'm saying? Don't be afraid, okay? All right. I am your protector. Your reward will be great. Reward for what? Obedience? Faithfulness? Yeah. Obedience and faithfulness. Is there any mention of a lie? Oh, you know what? We might not get to covenant. Okay. Remember, I've told you before, some of you heard it, some of you haven't. You know, I liken our lives like a maze. And God can see how to get in and out of that maze. He can see that, no turn, no turn, no turn. Right? And we're like, oh no, that's a dead end. Step out. And so until you step out, you can't see that, oh, that's not a dead end. That would, if I'd have turned that way, that was a dead end. But God can see it. Right? I want you to go, to San Francisco. What? That's Cincy. I ain't going there. Or I want something that we think, something we feel. Forget San Francisco. I want you, step out and do this. God, that's against your scripture. Step out. I want you to go in this direction. God, your word says, Sherry, step out. What is he telling me? Step out. He's pointing the direction, and see, my eyes are fixed on, oh, this thing here, and he's telling me to step out. He's not fixating on where he's telling me the direction to go. He's telling me to move, to step out in that direction. He's not telling me to go there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Why? So that I will move. So that I can then be in the position to move where he wants me to go. So that I'm obedient. He wants a willing, obedient heart, regardless of your understanding. He doesn't want me to go to destruction, but he wanted me to move in this direction so that I can now turn. Oh! Okay? Sometimes it's not a oh. Sometimes you have to keep moving until you are finished obeying, and then you can go, wow. Okay? But he didn't want me over there. He wanted me over here, but I needed to move. Okay? So you have to trust and obey. Don't get fixated on, well, he said to go here. Did he really? No, he said, I want you to step in this direction. I want you to move towards. I want you to step towards. I want you to go towards. I want you to go to. Okay, stop. It's just to move you so that he can then direct you or redirect you. So what if Abram's lie had a purpose? See, obviously it was a common thing. Abram knew, man, you're a beautiful woman. They'll take you. They'll kill me and take you. How's that right? So what did Abram do? He exposed what? Their foul practices. So why is the focus not on the lie? Because the focus was not about a lie. It was about exposing a foul practice. Because see, I've done something similar before. Made a statement, knowing in my heart full well that was not. Why? It exposes. Do you see what I'm saying? We have to start looking at things differently because God never, ever, ever calls him out as a liar. And yet God detests what? Liars. Okay? So don't get hung up on terminology. You know, these have been interpreted from another language. And so our understanding of what transpired doesn't mean it was a lot. It's not an intentional set out to deceive, to gain one over, to destroy you so that I might have illicit gain. Okay, lying that's a negative thing. This was an exposure. Okay? I don't know how else to explain it to you because we don't have the English words for it. Okay? But God never condemns it. Instead, right here, it says, I am your protector, your reward. God does not reward those that do detestable things. He does not reward those who disobey him. You see what I'm saying? So don't get hung up on, Abram was a liar. That's not what God says. Okay? That's not what he says. All right, can I move on? Okay. Abram replied, Adonai God, what good will your gifts be to me if I continue childless? And Eleazar from Damascus inherits my possessions. You haven't given me a child. And Abram continued, so someone born in my house will be my heir. But the word of Adonai came to him. What did he say before? He said your seed, not descendants, because you can adopt. He said your seed. Okay? He said your seed. So there's a little doubt in here. This man will not be your heir. No, your heir will be a child from your own body. And then he brought him outside. Come outside. I need you to get out of your comfort zone. I need you to get out of your comfort zone. You know, about 4 o'clock every morning, that puppy's got to go out and go potty. It's cold. You know, 2 days ago it was 31 degrees. It's cold. Get out of your comfort zone. I don't want to go outside. Well, how else am I going to train the puppy? If I got to take it out, right? Okay. Get out of your comfort zone. If he tells you to move, move. If he tells you to turn, turn. Well, I'm going here. Okay, he says turn, turn. Okay? All right.
Here's I have a problem with, how can I be like Abraham? And here's where I'm going with that. How can I listen to God unless I hear God? You know, I can do that temporarily when I feel like, Lord, I need you. But then I go into the world and God says, no, meditate on me day and night all the time. Because when I go out there, I'm not listening to God. Because the noise is drowning me hearing God. How do I get to that place? Let's make it personal.
Kind of goes with what I said this morning about abiding. Because everything that you do, you take him with you. Everywhere you go, every conversation, he is there and he is in it and he is with you. It's like he's standing right there with you, although he's standing inside of you. Okay? But he's your constant companion and he's constantly going with you. And here's the thing. You have to get past the feeling. Okay? He's with you. You just haven't. What you have to do is, I don't feel your presence. Does that mean he's not there? We walk not by sight. And what is sight? Feeling. Feeling is part of sight. It's the senses. Sight just means senses. What I can see, what I can hear, what I can taste, what I can smell, and what I can feel, or my heart, what I can feel. Did any of you feel his presence before you got here? And yet you each brought him with you, and together, and did we feel him? Yeah, we did. Might not feel him now. He's still here. His presence is still here. We're still abiding. So Abram walked every day not with feeling, but with the understanding. I'm walking and abiding, and he's right here. That's how you do it. Did that help? Does that make sense? Okay. All right.
Faith.
Faith. I know that I know. You got to know it in your brain without feeling it in your feelers. Okay? You have to.
It's your everyday life. I mean, you get up in the morning and you fix a cup of coffee and you say, thank God I've got coffee today. Thank you, Father.
Thank you for this caffeine.
Yeah. It's just
Start earlier before you ever get out of bed. You open your eyes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
just there.
It's attitude. Okay, it's character, it's attitude. It's attitude. And it starts with gratitude. That's the number one, because gratitude is the closest characteristic to the word attitude.
Yep.
If you have that, and you start your day with that, and you see him in everything, because he's in everything, and he's there, that will change your perspective. It's knowing, not knowing. See, so here the knowing, I would say, is our feeler knowing. Here is our intellect knowing. And even beyond our intellect knowing, even our spiritual knower. I know that I know that. How about right here in my gut? I know that I know that I know that I know that I know. No feeling involved, no intellect involved. I know it. Just as sure as I can't see my stomach, but I know it's working. Just as I can't see my heart, but I can't see my lungs. But I know and I trust they're working and they're there. Can I feel them? Well, some of us strange people can feel our organs. And so when they go wrong, I can go, oh, it hurts right here and it's this. And they're like, but that's not the norm. Okay? So what I'm saying is you know that you know, down deep inside of you, you know that 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 you know who he is. And he's with you all the time. It's not a feeling. It's not an intellectual, brainiac thing. It's a knowing. And that knowing goes with you everywhere. Okay? That's how you abide. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Did everybody understand that? Did I explain it well enough, or do I, because I won't go on until we get it. So you just, you know that 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 you know.
Wow.
And you walk in that. Okay?
Sometimes you don't know that you know.
Yeah, that's right. And that's how I felt. I
Okay?
didn't. It was the Lord.
I'm glad
But
you
it
said
comes
that.
out.
I'm glad you said that, because you still know. Because why? Because you have determined, you have resolved that every moment of every day is his, and that you're walking, regardless of whether you have consciously said today, you're with me. I know that every day he is with me. You see what I'm saying? So you still know, but you might not know. Okay? Does that make sense? It's in your knower, you know, and your knower goes with you does your stomach go with you everywhere? Yeah, you don't put it on a table and walk away. Does your heart go with you? Does your lungs go with you? Does your liver go with you? Does all of that go with you everywhere you go? Yes.
The closest thing I can say to that is like the other day on the phone, and you
Oh, yeah.
were not where you wanted.
I was not well.
Yeah, you were not well.
I was not well.
And I don't even know what I said, but immediately
Immediately.
the cloud was lifted.
Immediately.
That's what I mean when I didn't know that I knew.
Yeah. But she knew enough that she knows she's God's. I know she's God's. I'm God's. She knows I'm God's.
Yeah.
And what she spoke pierced it was nothing to her. It pierced.
Yeah.
And it pierced through the darkness, shattered the cloud, and I could see the light. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because she's walking in obedience. She's walking in abiding. Because she knows that she knows that she knows that she knows. Even if she doesn't know. Like I said earlier, I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth. But I know who's in me and that he'll give me. Okay? All right. Does that make sense? I don't think we're going to get to covenant. But that's okay, because this is really good. See, I never know. I'm not going to need that today anyway. All right. Yeah, because there's no way. But that's fine. It's good. So you've got to walk in that. You've got to walk in the knowing. I know who my Redeemer is. He who began a good work in me will be faithful to complete it. He who is for me is greater than he who is against me. Greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. Okay? You got to stand on those things. You have to. If you're going to abide and be his and not be deceived, you must stand. See, and she answered the phone.
Wow.
Lord have mercy. There's a story behind that,
She
whatever.
never answers her phone.
Well, because, she used to have, she got rid of the landline, so now it's just the cell phone. It's totally new to her, and it's like, oh my gosh, would you answer your phone?
I don't have to hear that ring.
And it was like 0 dark early in the morning. Anyway, where was I going with that? I don't know. Oh, well, whatever. He'll direct you, and he'll guide you, and he'll give you the words. And so I knew before our phone conversation, early in the morning, like before some of you were even up, I knew something. I knew it was spiritual. I knew that it was from a trigger. I had not quite yet identified what that spirit was, but I knew it was familiar. One word. Boom! Did it come from her? No. I love her to pieces. It didn't come from her. She was just a willing, obedient servant, okay? She didn't do it. It came from Abba. But it pierced, and it broke and shattered everything, okay? One word. And I couldn't even tell you, neither one of us can tell you what that word, I couldn't tell you what that word was right now. To save my life, I couldn't tell you what that word was. It doesn't matter because it was important right then at that moment. And I identified the trigger. I identified the familiar spirit. I identified what the attack was and why and how it came to back. And so once you begin to recognize these things, see, I told someone else this week, it's not a failure. What you're walking through and you're learning everything, because we take, and then if I can learn from this so that the next time something similar, I can now identify. Okay? If our lives were rosy, if our lives were just, we wouldn't be.
We wouldn't mature.
Have you seen these trees out here? They're butchered. They've been pruned. Pruning comes when it's cold, when it's dark. There's very little light, mostly darkness. The nights are longer. That's when pruning comes. It's dark, it's cold, it's lonely. Nothing's green and productive. It's cold, right? Desolate. That's when pruning comes. Empty. No fruit. There's no fruit. That's when pruning happens. But what comes when he adds the water and the sun? Growth and fruit. If we aren't pruned, if we don't go through trials, if we don't go through stuff, if we don't go through life, we don't produce fruit. Wow, that was really good, Abba. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard pruning. But if you just let the tree go and let it do its own thing, you're not going to get a lot of good fruit. It's like the orange tree. Baba Alsace, he was like, those oranges have to come off now. Why? Because he could see the new buds were starting. And if you leave the old fruit on there, those new buds are not going to mature and we won't have fruit next year. Yeshua told them, you know the seasons and the times, and you can read the sky, and you can read this, and you can see with the fig tree, spring is coming, and blah, 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 or the harvest, and you don't know what time it is? We need to do the same thing in our walk. Does that make sense? Okay. Wow, how many verses did we get? Not very many. That was really good, Abba. Yeah. And at any given moment this week, I would have told you, I didn't have a lot of study time this week. I didn't have a lot of, I don't feel like I had a lot of oil refreshing time this week. But God, He's faithful. And if we trust Him, this is what He's given me to do. I'm going to do it. Whether I think I'm prepared or ready or have something or not. Because honestly, when I have something, it's... What? Isn't that the truth? He knows better. All right. Where are we? Oh, you haven't given me a child. No, but verse 4. But the word of Adonai came to him, and he goes, this man will not be your heir. No, your heir will be a child from your own body. And then he brought him outside, and he said, look up at the sky and count the stars. Wait a minute. Didn't he tell him to count the dust? What is made of dust? Hey, Missy. Missy.
Charlie.
Thank you. Dust. What's made of dust? Do you remember? Who did God make out of dirt? Adam. We're all dirt. Just saying. Now he says, look up at the sky and count the stars. Well, I was outside last night. You know, it was cold. But the wind moved all the clouds. And I looked up and I was like, oh my, I haven't seen that many stars in a really long time. It was beautiful. If you can count them, see, city folk have no idea. They might see a star and go, oh wow, no. You know what I mean? They can't see them.
Right.
The sky is full of stars. You got to go way up in the mountains, way up high. And sometimes I don't even know where anymore, where there's no lights so that you can see. Whoa! The magnificence, even without a full moon, the stars lights up the sky. Well, guess what? There's no electricity. There's no lights. There's no lots of people there. He could see the stars more than we can see. If you can count them, your descendants will be that many. Can anybody tell me the next two words?
He believed.
What?
He believed.
What? You got it right. Say it again.
He believed.
He believed. He believed. I do believe you are the one. He believed in Adonai. He believed in Yad-Heh-Vav-Heh. He believed in Yahweh, the creator and master of the universe, the great I am. He believed in him. He believed in Adonai. And Adonai credited to him as what? Righteousness, sorry. Credited to him as righteousness. I think it's a good place to stop. I think it's a great place to stop. There's a New Testament verse. Believe on the Lord Yeshua, Mashiach, and you will be saved. Yeshua means God is salvation. Which God? Adonai, Yad-Heh-Vav-Heh. Believe and be saved. That's all it takes. A choice, not a feeling, not words. I believe. I believe here. I believe here. I believe here. I believe. You are Almighty God. The beginning and the end. No beginning, no end. Almighty God. I believe. That's all it means. I believe. Not how many days we count. Not are we doing Passover at the right time? What if we're on the wrong calendar? What do I do with this? How many that? That's not what it says. Believe. I believe. I believe you're Almighty God. And out of that, out of love comes obedience. Okay? He counted him as righteousness because he believed, not because of what he did. Not because he dotted the I and crossed the T. Because he believed. That's it. Okay? Get that deep inside of you. Okay. Stand, please. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Amen.